Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to a brand new challenge video. My last Pokemon challenge was using random teams each battle, but today we're going to go back to another solo challenge and find out. Can you beat Pokemon Firered or Leafgreen with only a Diglett? If we take a look at Diglett's stats, its speed is all the way up at 95, and its attack is 55, which is decent, but its HP is all the way down at 10. Our defense, special attack, and special defense are not the best either, so we have to be careful getting hit with super effective moves. We're probably going to be able to outspeed everything since our speed is at 95. And our attack is at 55, which isn't the best, but as soon as we get access to Earthquake, it's going to help a lot. If we look at Diglett's learn set, we actually learn Earthquake all the way up at level 41 and Fissure at 49, although we will not be using Fissure for this run. Luckily, we do learn Magnitude at level 9, so that's going to help with the Brock fight, but I have no idea how we're going to get past Misty. And with that out of the way, let's get into the rules. Rule number 1 is no using other Pokemon in battle besides Diglett, obviously. Rule number 2 is no using items in battle. Held items are going to be allowed, but I'm going to challenge myself and try not to use any this run. And rule number 3 is no hacking or cheating of any kind. You know, besides getting Diglett at the beginning, because I always have that one person comment. And with the rules out of the way, let's get into this. So at the very beginning, I end up replacing Charmander, so that way our rival will have Squirtle and eventually evolve into a Blastoise, giving us the hardest challenge. I end up naming my female Diglett Like to remind you guys to like the video if you enjoy. Honestly, I hate how people ask to like and subscribe at the very beginning of the video before you actually had an opportunity to watch the video, so wait until the end, and if you did enjoy it, please leave a like. It helps the channel a lot. We have the first rival fight, which is not necessary to win, and we do end up losing this one, so we do lose out on some EXP here, but it's fine. Like I said, this battle is not necessary to win. First up is Brock, and of course we cannot fight him with the moves we have, so I end up fighting countless amounts of Weedle and Caterpie until we actually have Magnitude. Like I said earlier, this is only a level 9, so it's not too bad of a grind. If we take a look at Brock's Pokemon, he only has a level 12 Geodude and a level 14 Onix. Magnitude is going to be super effective against both of them, and obviously they do not have Levitate, so we should be fine. Brock leads off with his level 12 Geodude, who only knows Tackle and Defense Curl, and we get a Magnitude 10 to easily take him out. Next up is Onix, and I only get Magnitude 6s for Onix, unfortunately, as I get hit with a critical Rock Tomb and then Tackle. Luckily, he misses his bind, and I finish him off with one more Magnitude. If he didn't miss that bind there, we obviously would have went down, but this is my first attempt, so I can't complain. In Mount Moon, after I beat the Super Nerd, I get to choose a fossil, and I end up picking the Helix fossil, because for some reason, I have everybody ask me what fossil I'd take every time. Next up is Misty, the Water Gym. Now, obviously, this is going to be a challenge because water is super effective against us, and we can't even beat the trainers in her gym, so there's no way we can take on her. After taking forever to grind, we are up at level 24, and we finally get a lucky run with our rival, so we could bypass Misty and just come back at a higher level. Our rival YouTube always took us out with his Squirtle, but for some reason on this one he went for Withdrawal instead of Water Gun, but I'm definitely not complaining. After crossing Nugget Bridge, we go to Bill's house, and he hilariously turned himself into a Clefairy. The funniest thing I've ever seen. And then received the SS ticket from Bill, and then I make my way towards Vermilion City. Once I made it to Vermilion City, I ended up catching a Spearow and naming it Subscribe because I don't know how to spell, and I honestly kept it because it was hilarious. There's an in-game trade that you're able to trade a Spearow for a Farfetch, and Farfetch is just a really good HM mon, so that's the only reason why we capture one. Next, we're going to take on a rival on the SS, and in case you did not see earlier, we do have access to Dig now, which is basically just a safer Magnitude because it always does a base 80 damage, although it does take 2 turns to do. And yes, I accidentally did use Dig on a Pidgeotto, don't scrutinize me. I eventually take down Pidgeotto with Scratch, take down Wartortle with Dig, take out Raticate with Dig, and take out Kadabra with Dig. Surprise, surprise. I then go up to the captain's quarters, and he gives us the HM01 for cut. We put off Misty long enough, and her Starmie's only at level 21, so as long as we are able to one-hit KO her or survive a Water Pulse, we should be fine. Misty leads off with her level 18 Staryu, and I am able to one-shot her with Dig, even though she did use Harden. Next out is her Starmie at level 21, and we are not able to one-shot, but we do survive a Water Pulse, so we land one more hit to take it out. Now that Misty is out of the way, we are finally able to use Cut outside of battle and take on Lieutenant Surge. Lieutenant Surge is an electric gym, hence the name. None of his Pokemon have Levitate, and they're all electric types, and we have a vast level advantage over all of them, so we should be able to take them out with Dig. By the way, this stupid, useless, random puzzle took me 10 minutes to do. Once we actually make it to Lieutenant Surge, he leads off with his Voltorb, so I end up using Dig, and of course it is a one-shot. Next up is his Pikachu at level 18. Now Pikachu does have Quick Attack, so he ends up using that because he knows we outspeed, but we take it out with Dig the next turn. We did end up getting paralyzed through Static though, and Raichu ends up going for its own Quick Attack as we use Dig one more time. Luckily we do not get paralyzed, and we're able to take it out with one Dig. That actually went according to plan for once, so I'm happy. Next up is Rock Tunnel, and in Rock Tunnel you could actually go to a move tutor who can teach you Rock Slide, and Diglett is luckily able to learn Rock Slide, so we end up replacing Mud Slap. I eventually find my way out of Rock Tunnel, and since I had Dig, it wasn't too bad. Next, I decide to take on Giovanni in the Team Rocket hideout, and I'm able to two-shot Onyx with Dig, but once I get to level 41, Diglett wants to learn Earthquake. Earthquake is just the better version of Dig, and it also doesn't take 2 turns to do, so we go ahead and replace Dig. Earthquake is also a ground type move, so we get that additional stab bonus. I accidentally use Slash here, doing a little bit of damage to Rhyhorn, but next turn I take him out with 1 Earthquake. Last up is Kangaskhan at level 29, and for some reason it ended up going for Bite instead of Mega Punch, so I'm able to take it out with only 2 more Earthquakes, beating Giovanni. I know at this level I'm not going to be able to take on Erika, so I grind up to level 44 and go back to our rival and end up using a combination of Rock Slide and Earthquake to take out his entire team. As soon as his Wartortle evolves into a Blastoise, we're not going to be able to one-shot it with Earthquake, so we definitely have to be careful when that comes up later. Eventually, I make my way through the Lost Tower and rescue Mr. Fuji, and then he gives us the Poke Flute to thank us. Next up is Erika with pretty decently leveled Grass Mons, and they all have Giga Drain, and none of them are weak to Earthquake, so we definitely have to be careful here. We do have a decent level advantage over them, and a couple of them are part poison, so Earthquake is still our best bet. Surprisingly enough, I completely underestimated Diglett, as I was able to one-shot Victory Bell and Vileplume, and I was able to two-shot Tangela, easily defeating Erika, way easier than I thought I was going to. In Silph Co, Diglett tries to learn Fissure, and Fissure is obviously a one-hit KO move if it actually connects, but I decided not to learn it because I want this to be a real challenge. In the Silph building, we have to fight our rival, and normally this battle is absolutely awful, but we get super lucky here and get a flinch on Pidgeot and then take it out with Slash. Blastoise ends up going for Protect and then Water Gun here, only leaving us with 11 HP, but we are able to take it out, and we get lucky on Execute as well and get a flinch and then take it out with a critical Slash. Alakazam goes down to 1 Earthquake, and next up is Growlithe at level 38, and even though he does have Intimidate and lowers our attack, we are able to take him out. That went way better than I expected. By the way, if you are enjoying this video so far, guys, make sure to hit that like button below and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Also, we get a Lapras, and name it Comment to remind you guys to comment because it's great for the YouTube algorithm. Next up is Giovanni, and most of his team is weak to Earthquake, so we're able to one-shot Nidorino, and next up is Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan's the only one not weak to Earthquake, so we end up getting hit with a Mega Punch, but we take it out with 2 Earthquakes, and next up is Rhyhorn, who goes down to 1 Earthquake, and last is a Nidoqueen, who also goes down to 1 Earthquake. It's obvious at this point we're just a glass cannon, and we could barely tank any hits, but we're able to dish out massive amounts of damage. For saving the Silph Co president, we do get a Master Ball, which is completely useless in this game because we could only use a Diglett. The next gym leader we are going to take on is Koga. Now, normally this would be a pretty easy battle, but 3 of his Pokemon have Levitate, making him immune to Earthquake. The only Pokemon we could actually hit with Earthquake is Mach. Once again, we do have a good level advantage, so we'll see what happens. After a few attempts, we finally get the lucky run we needed. Coughing's out first at level 37, and I end up getting a flinch and take him out with a Slash. Next out is Muck at level 39, and I end up going for Earthquake, one-shotting him. Next out is his other Coughing at level 37, and I end up going for Rock Slide, not getting the flinch this time, getting hit with a Smoke Screen, and then taking him out with a Slash. Koga's last Pokemon is a level 43 Weezing, and I try to get a crit here with Slash, but he ends up missing his Toxic, poisoning us with Sludge, so we actually can't get Toxic, but eventually I end up taking him down with only 3 Slashes and a Rock Slide. Like I said, this did take a few attempts due to his Coughing poisoning us a ton, but once we got past him without actually getting poisoned, it went pretty well. In the Safari Zone, I end up picking up the Golden Teeth for the Warden and picking up the TM for Double Team, and I decided not to use Double Team this run because once again that would make it way too easy, and I want this one to be a challenge. I then get HM03 Surf from the attendant, and I'm off to Sabrina. Sabrina has 4 Pokemon, and none of them have Levitate, and none of them are flying type, so Earthquake should do a lot of damage considering every single one of her Mons has weak physical defense. Sabrina leads off with her level 38 Kadabra, and it goes down to 1 Earthquake just like I thought it would. Next out is a female Mr. Mime, and it ends up going down with 1 Earthquake. Next out is Venomoth, who goes down to 1 Earthquake, and last but not least is Alakazam at 43, who goes down to 1 Earthquake as well. And that went exactly how I thought it would, considering we do have a really big level advantage, and we have a super strong move like Earthquake on our side. Next up is Blaine, the Fire type gym leader. Now, Growlithe does have Intimidate, which is going to lower our attack, but I'm pretty sure we're still going to be able to one-shot most of his Pokemon, and Arcanine is going to hit us with Intimidate again, so he might be a problem. Blaine leads off with his level 42 Growlithe, who obviously has Intimidate, like I said, which lowers our attack by 1 stage, but we're still able to one-shot it with Earthquake. Next up is Ponyta at level 40, who goes down to 1 Earthquake as well, and next up is Rapidash at level 42. Rapidash ends up going down to an Earthquake, surprisingly enough, and last but not least is Arcanine at level 47. I end up going for Earthquake here, even though I did get intimidated once again, but I'm sure of taking him out as he hits us with a Fire Blast, taking us out in only 1 hit. The very next turn, I end up trying to get a flinch with Rock Slide. I don't end up getting it, but he ends up going for Fire Blast, missing, so I take it out with 1 more Earthquake to win the battle. We are only at level 60 right now, and I know there's absolutely no way we're gonna beat our rival before the Elite Four or even attempt the Elite Four at this level, so some grinding is due pretty soon. Next is the 8th and final gym leader, Giovanni in Viridian City. Literally all of his Pokemon are weak to Earthquake and nothing outspeeds us, even his Dugtrio, so we should be fine. We arrive at Giovanni at level 62, which is more than enough. I end up one-shotting his Rhyhorn with an Earthquake, and next out is Dugtrio, and we end up one-shotting that with Earthquake as well. Honestly, this entire gym is just me using Earthquake, and it one-shots all of his Pokemon, and the funny thing is, if I get hit with an Earthquake myself, I'm definitely going down because, like I said earlier, I am a glass cannon. And just like I predicted, Earthquake was able to one-shot his entire team. And after destroying Giovanni for the final time, he gives us the Earth badge, and we have the 8th and final gym badge. And to top it all off, he gives us TM26, which is Earthquake, so he just ends up giving us the move I used to destroy him. Even though that last battle was our joke, our rival absolutely destroys us because Earthquake doesn't even do half damage to Blastoise, and he KOs us with a water gun out of all moves. So I ended up grinding, and after a while, I finally get to level 69. Nice. Unfortunately, level 69 wasn't the magic number, and I had to grind up to level 71, and it finally ended up working out in our favor. Pidgeot goes down with a Rock Slide and Slash, Blastoise goes down to a combination of Rock Slide and Earthquake. Next up is Execute, who goes down to only Earthquake, and Growlithe goes down to Earthquake as well. Rhyhorn goes down to 1 Earthquake, and Alakazam also goes down. Oh, never mind, he disabled my Earthquake. For some stupid reason, Alakazam could have easily killed me, but instead he went for Future Sight, so I just end up taking him out with a couple slashes. And with our rival finally out of the way, we have to go through Victory Road, and then it's time for the Elite Four. I finally find my way out of Victory Road at level 72, and I know there's no way I'm taking on Lorelei at such a low level. Also, Earthquake only has 10 PP, so we have to go get some PP restoring items as well. Finally, I make my way to level 83, and I take on Lorelei. I end up taking down Dugong with a combination of Slash and Slash. Yes, I said Slash and Slash because that's hilarious. Twister goes down eventually to some Rock Slides, but he does end up stalling our PP with Protect, so we are pretty low on Rock Slide PP. We end up taking down Slowbro with a critical Earthquake, and Jinx goes down to 1 Earthquake as well. In order to win this battle, I did need that critical hit on Slowbro, and then I needed a flinch on Lapras, and then eventually I do end up taking it out, defeating Lorelei. I also did grab a PP up, and I'm able to use Earthquake 12 times now instead of the normal 10. Next up is Bruno. Long story short, I end up using Earthquake on all of Bruno's Pokemon, and they all get taken out with only 1 hit. Even Machamp, because I got a critical hit taking it out. Poor Bruno. It seems like every single challenge run that we do, Bruno gets absolutely destroyed. Next up is Agatha, and the only Pokemon we could actually hit with Earthquake is Arbok, so I end up using Rock Slide a lot for this battle. Gengar goes down to a couple of Rock Slides, and Golbat goes down to a couple as well, even though it gets healed up. Next up is Haunter, and it ends up going for Mean Look, so I just end up taking it out with a Rock Slide. Next up is Gengar, who also gets taken down with a couple Rock Slides. Last but not least is Arbok, and I end up taking it out with a super effective Earthquake, defeating Agatha pretty easily. I'm super happy these battles went the way they did, because I know Lance is not going to be easy whatsoever. This Lance battle almost took 200 attempts to do, because Gyarados and Aerodactyl I had to get super lucky and get either flinches or critical hits, and eventually that's exactly what happened. You could also take down Dragonite by getting a flinch, and that's what I intended on doing, but I ended up getting a critical hit here, and I know I'm so close. I've got to this point a few times before, but Dragonite always shut me down. Now that Dragonite is out of the way, I have to take care of these Dragonair, only at 10 HP, and I really didn't expect to win this run, but I get a flinch here on Dragonair, and then I get a critical hit with Rock Slide taking out the other one. Like I said, I didn't expect to win this one at all. Last up is the champion, our rival YouTube, who has a pretty good team. I'm pretty sure we could take down Blastoise with an Earthquake, and then also Exeggutor is going to be another huge problem because he does have access to Giga Drain, so we're going to have to hope for flinches on him as well. He's also going to lead off with Pidgeot, who has Feather Dance, so we definitely cannot be messing around. If we get hit with Feather Dance, we have the reset. It looks like we're definitely going to be relying on flinches for Rock Slide. Over the course of a ton of attempts, I finally do get Pidgeot to flinch with a Rock Slide, and then I get a critical hit on Blastoise with Earthquake. Next out is Exeggutor at level 61, and I end up getting 2 flinches with Rock Slide, and then taking it out with a critical Slash. As soon as I finally got past Exeggutor over the course of 200 attempts, I knew that I could win this battle. Alakazam ends up going down to 1 Earthquake because he has bad physical defense, and next up is Rhydon, who goes down to 1 Earthquake because it is super effective. Last but not least is Arcanine, and I don't think a Earthquake will actually take him out in 1 hit, so I end up going for Rock Slide here, getting another flinch, and then I use Earthquake to finish him off. And finally, after relying completely on luck for this battle, I end up defeating the champion and beating the game with only a Diglett. If you guys enjoyed this video, video, make sure before you go to hit that like button below, as it helps the channel out a lot. And if you want to see more content like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button below. I know if I just grinded up instead of trying all those times, I probably would have saved time, but with speed up, it wasn't too bad because I was able to crank out 200 attempts in about 20 minutes. If you guys want to suggest any Pokemon challenges below, leave them in the comments because I will be doing your guys' suggestions. If you guys did enjoy this video, leave a dislike and let me know how I can improve down in the comments below. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, I brought my HM slaves this time just to cheer on Diglett because he has no friends.